Buddhism. There's many, many different traditions in Buddhism. Many, many. Maybe not as many as in Christianity, but there's a lot. And the reason these traditions exist is because the Buddha taught according to what people could comprehend, according to what their limitations were, So if they have very kind of solid minds, he taught in one way. If they were compassionate people, he taught in a different way, and so on. And there's no right tradition, you see. It's basically just what works for you, what your limitations are, what works for you. And of course, many Buddhists don't know that, so they can be quite sectarian, So, well, don't do what you're doing is wrong. So to get some kind of handle on it, according to my tradition, my superior tradition of Dzogchen, that you can boil this all down to two. And this takes a bit of explaining, but I'm not going to do it. I'll just tell you what they are. So there's two: those that take mind as the path, and those that take the wisdom of Rigpa as the path. In other words, those that concentrate on the appearances in mind, and those that that's the one lot, and those that concentrate on the nature of those appearances. And so these two approaches are exemplified by these two kind of great kind of collections that I don't know what word you'd use, called Lamrim and Dzogchen. So Lamrim basically means stages on the path. So it's this idea of a gradual, structured path. Do you see? It's based on this idea of a gradual, structured path, based on the accumulation of merit and wisdom. So this is what the Lamrim tradition is. And the Dzogchen, the so-called Great Perfection, there's just a single stage. There's not multiple stages. And this single stage is directed at awakening the truth of being. Let me explain that a little bit. So, I think many of you know this Pema Chodron, and she's written a book called. She's written many books, and I haven't read any of them, so I can't comment on whether they're any good or not. But I heard a lot of people benefit from them. So, but she has this book called "Start Where You Are." So this idea, you start where you are, and then you progress. Anyway, if I was writing a book, which I'm not, and won't, it would be called "Finish Where You Are." Why? Because it's not about going anywhere. It's about discovering in my being, discovering what's already there, discovering my essence, discovering what I am. There's no journey, you see. It's just coming home. And I've always, just my own, what's the word for it? Sectarian kind of thing, I've always found the Lamrim teachings, sometimes I wonder, like a little bit like, in Alice in Wonderland, when she's being rushed around by the Queen, and I sometimes wonder, okay, where are we going? What's the destination? where's the end stop? What's the end stop? Is there one? Does this just go on forever and ever? Is this like... Okay, that's my sectarian kind of thing. So, this tradition of discovery as opposed to journey, this discovery, it begins with rest. But there's no direction, actually. Rest is just rest, So as we do that, just do it now, Just rest. Do you know you have a mind? Can you experience that you have a mind? You notice something happening up here. Or down here, whichever, American Indians is down here, it's not up there, You notice, if you're just resting like this, you'll notice that for a moment you're actually noticing what's going on, and then you get involved. You get involved with what's happening. Now, when you get involved, you're not going to see anything. So you just simply rest again. So you rest, you notice your mind moving. And then sometimes you get caught, you get dragged away by what's just come into your mind. But then just rest again. It's very, very simple. So I had a great chat with Maura last week, and I discovered some things. I thought it'd be nice to share them, And so one of the things that you notice is that a thought or a memory, whatever, comes, and straight away it seems like straight away you react to that thought or that memory. I think this is what you see happening, right? So as you rest more, you might actually notice that there's two separate events here. The first, you have the thought or the memory, and then you have the reaction. Let me just give you a simple example. If you take an herb like thyme or whatever your favorite herb is, and you smell it, at first there's just the sense of smell, right? And then, oh, I like, I don't like, there's this, I like, So mostly we think that the smell itself has built into it, I like, I don't like. Isn't that true? We think that whatever appears in our mind has built into it itself these qualities of like, don't like. But actually, It's not like that. And I know personal experience, not with time, but it's possible. For example, if you ate if you ate food that had if you ate something that tasted like thyme or that had a strong thyme flavor, and you got really sick because you got food poisoning, when you would smell thyme, you would actually feel revulsion. This is a very important discovery. That the thoughts, the memories, those things themselves don't have qualities of like, don't like, and so on. So actually, the reaction, everything that happens to you, right, it's just happening. But then you have this reaction. Where does the reaction come from? The reaction actually comes from your karma. What does that mean? It basically means things that have happened to you in the past. And just the example of the time. If you had a lovely dinner, myself and Maura are into cooking. If you had a lovely dinner and you smelled the thyme, oh, this thyme is so nice. If you had food poisoning, you smell the thyme, you go, oh God. Now, the stage we're at the minute, you have no option. When something comes into your mind, you will react. I guarantee it. You have to accept this. You will get a reaction. You have to accept it. There's no... So, what can you do? And this is where the whole kind of thing... This is going on a bit long, I hope you don't mind. Okay. Anyway, you can bug out anytime you like, I don't care. So, now, what's usual? What's usual is the thought or the memory comes, the initial reaction comes, and then what happens next? This is all stuff, by the way. This is about discovery. This is not me telling you what you're supposed to believe. This is about you looking at your own mind, your own world, your own reality. What happens next? You try to manipulate. That's what happens next. You try, as we said, you try to scratch the mosquito bite. You see? Whereas you basically have to like accept, you know? Now, that doesn't mean that you express the feeling. You see? So like, you know, Martin, you're boring the pants off me, whatever the expression is, you know? So then I get insulted and I express back to you. No. You accept the feeling. You just leave it alone. I'm insulted, but I just leave it alone. If you can. And so this is basically this is what we're practicing, is leaving your mind unaltered. You notice we're not trying to change anything. We're not trying to influence anything. There's no position, there's no direction. This is about discovery. This is about wisdom. This is about seeing how things actually are right now, right here. Now, when you leave your mind unaltered like this, again, here's the thing to watch out for. You're leaving it alone with ease, not with effort. You're not trying to leave it alone. There's like an effortless ease, more like a letting go, letting be. Realizing that all of this is just mental events, which is a big discovery. And when you do this, and you simply leaving the reaction alone, it no longer controls you. There's a natural sense of ease, natural ease. Can you feel it? Lovely word in Tibetan, machopa. You know, some words have a kind of poetic kind of resonance, you know. Machopa, unaltered, just left alone. You're not interpreting, planning. You're just allowing all these appearances in mind and their accompanying reactions just to be. That's meditation. So we just spend a minute or two just like this. There's no method here. Sorry. There's nothing you can do. Just rest. Leave your mind alone. Let it be what it wants to be. It's just happening. You're still here. You haven't changed. Just here. Each moment is fresh. So basically, you train like this, you know, with everything that comes into your mind. And you notice it doesn't require a meditation cushion. Oh, the way you know it's working, by the way, this takes a while. The way you know it's working, by the way, is if somebody pushes your button. Do you know what I mean? Somebody gets on your goat. Your reaction comes, and it dissolves. It's not that you don't react. It comes. The fuck you. Whatever it is, you know, it comes. You annoying bitch. It comes. And it dissolves. So this is what the path to freedom is about. Okay, so